Alrighty, third graders, hello. Today we are going to continue our Latin American unit, and we are actually not going to travel in distance, but we're going to travel in time. So last week when we were talking about Aztecs, we learned that the Aztecs lived in Mexico before it was Mexico, right? They lived in that area, but it wasn't known as Mexico yet. It was actually controlled by different tribes, and one of those tribes was the Aztecs. Well, we're going to fast forward or go forward in time, jump in your little time machine and fly with me. And we are going to travel forward in time. And to the time of the Puebla Indians. So the Puebla Indians used a special tree that they tore the bark off of to create their paper, to create these Amate bark paintings. And nowadays, so fast forward even more to today in Mexico, artists in Mexico still make Amate bark paintings, papel amate. So some of the artists still use the bark off of the trees, and they use this special process of peeling it off, soaking it in water, boiling it, cooking it for 8 hours, and then pressing it into paper. In a video below, you guys will see an artist today that actually still uses that process. Not every artist today still uses that process because they do not want to overuse their natural resources. The ficus is the tree that they use the bark from, and if they use too much, these trees only grow in this mountain region of the Puebla. So this certain region of Mexico is where this tree grows. So if they use too much and they kill the trees, then that tree won't be around anymore. So a lot of artists that make amate today don't use the bark anymore. They use other materials, but some still do the traditional way. Okay, so I think that's about all. This is the video that you guys are going to watch in a little bit. So that's a little bit about the history of it. I don't want to spend too much time on the history because I know art history isn't necessarily all of our favorite. And I know we want to get to the actual art today. So this is what a traditional amate bark painting looks like, or papel amate. They very often have birds in them, and they often have natural objects. So things like plants, flowers, ferns, things like that are very, very common themes. Another common theme that you can see here is a border. This is maybe a new thing for you. I know that in class we don't often make borders for our artwork, but a border is just a decorative edge, or a frame, right? So think of it like maybe you guys have pictures hanging in your house and you put pictures in frames, and the frame is just like that wooden edge or metal edge that goes around your picture. And that is all a border is. It's like a frame for your painting. So we are going to be making a border for our project today too, because it is very traditional. Another thing I want you guys to notice, again, are the birds. There's a lot of birds in these paintings. And of course, more flowers, more plants, and then notice that brown background, that bark background. The other thing I want you guys to notice are the bright colors. The colors used for these papel amate or amate bark paintings are very bright. They use very bright, very beautiful colors. Which is probably why I like Latin American art so much. I love bright colors. I love birds. I love flowers. I love plants. So this is just my kind of art. So hopefully you guys are enjoying taking a look at these today too. Like I said before, birds are a very common theme. I love the big, beautiful tail feathers on these birds. They remind me of like tropical birds. So they are super beautiful. All right, the other thing I want you guys to notice here when we're looking is the C and S shapes. Now, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse moving or not, but the tail of the birds kind of make this C shape. Where else do you see a C or an S shape? All right, one thing that my students noticed today was that the whole painting seems to be designed around this S shape. So if you look at the plant going right through the middle, it kind of divides the whole paper into a big S. And there's a bird down in the lower corner, a bird up in the upper corner, and then straight through the middle, you see this S shape. And then the tail of the birds, of course, we talked about having the S shape. But if you look at the entire body of the bird from head to tail, they make an S shape as well. So if you're struggling to figure out like how to draw your bird, just start with that basic S shape and then add that C shape for the tail. And I think you'd be in a pretty good spot to start. Okay, so if you look at the one on the right, you can see that beautiful border. If you look at the one on the left, you can see all the beautiful birds and flowers. So those are some key elements that I want you guys to be thinking about these next couple weeks when we're working on these drawings. The border, you need to have a decorative edge around your painting. Color you don't need to worry about so much today because we are not going to be adding the color yet today. We are going to spend some time drawing. So I want you guys to think about things that occur in nature, right? So plants, animals, that's what you are going to want in your drawing. And of course, if you want to stick with traditional amate, the bird is a great choice. And then of course, these beautiful plants are a wonderful choice as well. And if you are somebody who loves drawing flowers, oh man, you can do some beautiful flowers for this project today. All right. So go ahead and watch the videos below to learn a little bit more about the tradition of amate bark painting, and then watch the next video to see how we're going to start this project. Alrighty, I'll talk to you guys next week.